Hi all, welcome to my channel. I'm Will Wyvern. Today I want to talk about the differences between being a literal reader and an intuitive reader. There's nothing wrong with either one. Each one has its advantages, but I want to talk about being both, tying both together, using both aspects as the literal and as an intuitive reader. I think it's going to really improve upon your tarot and oracle reading skills. Now, first, let's get into some definitions. A literal reader is someone who memorizes the little booklet that comes with the cards and they just read what's in that definition. They don't vary or stray from the definition. They adhere to the definition. Everything is strictly about the definition. They can use pip decks. Those are decks that don't have pictures on the cards, just the little numbers or symbols. They can use those to do readings because they're not looking at the pictures. They're actually just memorizing the cards. And there's nothing wrong with that method. I have friends who do readings and they've got the little book or booklet next to them and they're constantly looking at it to make sure they've remembered the right definitions, the right readings, and they use what's literally in the book. There's nothing wrong with that. On the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum, we have intuitive readers. They are readers who don't necessarily adhere to the definitions in the book. They look at the card, or they look at the grouping of cards. All the cards together, if they're doing a multi-card reading, they look at the picture. They let the picture guide them and tell them what the message is. Because in my definition, in my belief, tarot readings, oracle readings, divination, they are a type of divination. You're looking at what's going to happen. You're looking at a message that's going to impact your future. And that message could come from your god, your goddess, your ancestors, the universe, your spirit god, your spirit animal. It's coming from somewhere else, and it's telling you what you need to know. It's giving you guidance or advice to make decisions, to plan out your path, to, decide what you're going to do, where you're going to go, what the benefits are, what the downfalls are. That's what a tarot oracle reading is. You can do it literally, just read what's in the book. Two of Cups, that's what this means. Hierophant, that's what this means. Queen of Cups, that's what this means. And that's fine. Like I said, I have friends who do it, and they do a fantastic job. An intuitive reader, again, you're looking at the card, you're looking at as you spread them out, as you lay them out, and you're letting your intuition, you're letting your gut, your heart, your mind, what do you feel when you look at that card? What message are you getting? Is it a message that's just a literal translation of the card, or is the message something deeper? Is the card just the tip of the iceberg to give you a hint or to give you a clue of what you need to do? And I think that's what intuition is. And if you can combine the two, if you can be both a literal and an intuitive reader, my God, your readings are going to be phenomenal. You are going to be so much more in touch because not only are you reading literally what the cards say, but you're letting your intuition. Because if you look at a card that's something simple, but as you look at it, you're seeing something totally different than the book definition. Trust your gut. Trust your instinct. And I'll give you an example. I did a reading for a couple years and years ago. And the basic definition of the reading was there's going to be good fortune. Something good is going to happen. You're going to get lucky with something. You're pretty much going to get a good purchase at a good price, and it's going to work out good for you. Everything's going to be fine. But as I looked deeper at the cards and I let my intuition run free and actually interpret what I was seeing, the message was a little more muddier than that. The message was, yeah, you're going to have good fortune. Yeah, you're going to get a good deal. And things are going to look good on the surface. Or things are going to be good at first. But I saw the muddying of the waters. Something not bad, but something not good was going to happen. So you're going to have to take your chances and almost a gamble at this, this good find or this good fortune, because something down the line wasn't going to be good. And it was a lot clearer because what they ended up doing, they had a deal to buy a used car. And it was a great deal, great price. It was a good little car, something to run around with. And they thought everything was good. But after my reading, they decided to have a buddy who was a mechanic take a closer look at the car. And he found some things that were questionable. He found some things that might possibly lead to more expenses down the road. So, because of my reading, they did some more investigation and they found out maybe this deal wasn't as good as I thought. So, that's an example. I could have stuck with the literal translation and they would have got a halfway reading. But the fact that I went with my intuition led to something more rewarding, a better reading that gave them more guidance. So that's why I think you should tie them together. And another example, when I first started doing tarot cards, I did like everybody else. I remembered all the cards. I got the little booklet out, and every night I would like memorize 2 or 3 of the cards. I'd lay the cards out and, match what card went with what definition. And I did pretty much the same thing. I would want to say a majority of all tarot and oracle card readers start off the same way. They memorize the cards. They memorize the cards. They don't even look at the pictures. All they do is say, Queen of Cups means this. The Joker means this. The Fool means this. The Two of Swords means, they just memorize what the cards are. I was in Greece and I was doing elderly woman found out that I did tarot readings. And she was an American who went to Greece many, many years ago. She married a Greek guy. They went back to Greece. So the tarot readings weren't big in her community. So she found out that I did them and she's like, hey, can you do a tarot reading for me? And I was like, sure, I'd love to. So I got on my tarot deck. I got my little book. I was all, excited. I did this reading and she just kind of looked at me and smiled and said, now let's do a tarot reading where you use your gut. You use your intuition. And she laid out the cards and she held up each card and she said, don't tell me what the definition of this card is. Tell me what you see when you look at it. Tell me what you see as it pertains to me, my future, my past, my present. What do you see when you look at me and you look at this card? Describe it like you're describing this card to a blind person. And that was the first time I did intuitive reading. And that was what I did from then on. When I looked at a card, I didn't just look at what the card was and what the definition was in the booklet. I looked at that card. I looked at the person. I looked around that person. What did I see when I looked at that person? Their past, their present, their future. What did I see? And then I looked at the card, and I really looked at the card. And here's a brief example. And here's an example, the Five of Cups. Now, basically, if you look at the literal translation of this card, it talks about loss, but you still have some remaining. So it basically means you're going to lose something, but don't worry, you're still going to have some things left. That's the basic meaning. But if you actually look at the card, there's a figure, you don't know if it's a male or a female, they have their back turned towards you, they're looking down at the cups. Now look at the card, actually look at it, and what do you feel? You see this building in the background. Is the figure going towards that castle or home, or are they walking away from it? Are they crossing that bridge to freedom, to a new life, to new adventures, or are they seeking to go home? Are they seeking to return? Are these cups a symbol of something that's blocking them or stopping them? Are they trying to get back home, but something's blocking them, so they had to knock it over to get home? Or are they trying to leave? Are they trying to break away? Are they trying to go towards freedom or a new life? And these cups are symbols of things that are blocking them, so they have to be aggressive and they have to kick over these cups. And the other question is, did he find these cups knocked over, or did the figure knock these cups over by himself or herself? you really need to look at the card. What do you feel? Let your, honor the literal translation, but open yourself to your intuition. What do you feel when you look at this card? Did the figure knock those cups over, or did the figure find those cups knocked over? Is the figure looking to knock these over or leave them standing? There are so many different interpretations. Just open yourself to those possibilities. Okay, so that was what I was talking about. When you look at a card, look at all the possibilities. Look at all the different paths that your reading could take with that card. Don't just limit yourself. Don't hinder your readings, because I know it's happened to me hundreds of thousands of times. When you're doing a reading, you look at the card, you know what the definition is in your head, but you're looking at the card and you're saying, I see this. I'm not seeing what the book says. I'm seeing something different. And I'm telling you, if you open yourself to your gut feelings, if you open yourself to your intuition and actually say what you're feeling, say what you're thinking, because that message is coming to you, be it from the god, the goddess, your ancestors, spirit guide, spirit animal, the universe, the elements, whatever you believe in, whatever you practice. That message is coming to you, and they may use certain cards to best describe that message as they can. It's not always going to be perfect. It's going to be a little cloudy. It may be a little, unsure. So go with your intuition. What do you feel? And as you do that more, you're going to get better at it. You're going to get more skilled at using your gut and using your intuition and trusting yourself. And I think that's going to lead to better readings for your friends, for your family, for, whoever you do it for. And trust me, I really mean this. Let your intuition free. Some of us may not have the best intuition. Some of us may have no intuition. But if you practice, if you open yourself to trusting your intuition and developing your intuition, I think that's going to open a lot of doors. Not only in divination, reading tarot and oracle cards, throwing bones, pendulum, crystal balls, whatever, but also in your magic, when you're casting spells, when you're reading a spell out of a book and you're like, okay, do this, blah, 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 blah. I think if I use a white candle instead of a yellow candle, I'm going to get better results. Or, if I do this and if I stand up instead of sit down, or if I go out into the woods instead of doing it, in my backyard, or just let your intuition free. I think that's going to lead to so many more possibilities, so much wonder, and so much exploration. And that's what's going to make your practice grow. That's what's going to make your skill as a diviner grow. Someone who reads and interprets the tarot and oracle cards or bones or pendulum, whatever you're doing. If you let your intuition, people don't, like I said, this isn't a negative statement, but some people don't want a tarot reading where you've got the book in one hand and the tarot cards in the other. I mean, I know people who do it, they do a good job, they mean well, but to have someone actually look at the cards and interpret the cards and tell you what those cards mean pertaining to them, pertaining to this instance and this, this time, I think that's a lot more special. And that's going to build a bond with you. It's going to build a bond with your cards, with your skills, with your god, your goddess, whoever it is you call on. So I think that's important. Rely on the literal translation, rely on the literal definitions to give you a good foundation, to give you a good base. Once you have that base down, once you have that foundation, the next step is letting it grow. Use your intuition. Let your skills develop, and you're going to become a much better reader. You're going to be able to interpret and look at the cards a lot deeper and find out what those meanings are that are hidden under the layers, hidden under that initial definition. So I think that's going to be very incredible, once you start doing it, once you try it. If you're not successful, don't worry. Stay with what you know, stay with what works for you. If you do find that it's growing, then keep on going. Be happy with what you have. Strive for a little bit more. Set your goals a little bit high, a little bit higher. Try to, get a little bit deeper into your practice. And I wish you success, but you have to try. If you don't try, you'll never know. So here's a little homework. Here's something you can do. Take out your favorite tarot deck. Don't look at the definition. Just, sit down and hold the cards up and flip through the cards. And as you flip each card, don't think about what the definition means. Just look at the card. What do you see? What are all those little elements that you've never really looked at before? What are the different meanings possible from this card? Like the example I gave. Look at the card. Which way is this person facing? What are their actions? What did they just do? What are they going to do? And just like a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, and then after doing that card, flip the next card and just do 2 or 3 cards a night or in the morning when you wake up and just kind of look at them and let your intuition grow. Let your investigative skills, your detective skills, when you look at these cards, like what's happening in this picture? What just happened? What's going to happen? Why did it happen? What's causing this to happen? Because all that's going to tie into your reading. When you tie all those cards together, it's going to help your reading. You're going to have a better understanding. Okay, that's all I wanted to talk about. Literal reader, intuitive reader. Try to be both. Try to be a little bit literal, a little bit intuitive, and I think your readings are going to be a lot more incredible. I wish you the best. I wish you success. And as always, thank you.